Today we are going to be rebuilding the worst overall team in Madden franchise, which just so happens to be the Carolina Panthers, sitting at a 78 overall. Now, while I am going to be simulating everything in the season as far as the games go, I am going to do a couple of setting adjustments before we get into it. The one main thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I am going to turn injuries off. The last thing I want to do is spend 3 seasons rebuilding a team and then, all of my best players get hurt and then we miss the whole season pretty much. So I'm going to turn injuries off just to avoid that, just for the sake of seeing, what we can do in the best way we can do it. Injuries are going to be off, but other than that, I think I'm just going to keep everything else the way it is. I'll turn pre-existing injury off and practice injury off. But as long as all 3 injuries are off, then I think we're good to go. I don't really see any problem with any of the other settings. I think everything else is fine. I'll keep trade difficulty at normal. I'll keep salary cap on, and then obviously trade deadline and all these settings are going to stay the same. So it's going to be as realistic as possible of a rebuild, aside from the fact that we're turning injuries off, so we can keep all the players that we do manage to get. All right, so first things first, we got to choose our draft class. Now, I think I'm going to import a roster. I'm going to just 2026 NFL draft, 354,000 downloads. I would assume that this is probably going to have at least some of the players that are in real life. Probably not all of them, but I am going to import the draft class. And yeah, we got some names that I recognize here. So we will download this draft class and we will use this for our 2026 draft. It's probably missing some players, but I'm not too familiar of all the players coming out of college off the top of my head, but I do recognize a few of the names on here, so it seems pretty good to me. So as I enter my first season, the first thing I want to do is I just want to look at the roster that we have, to see what positions we need. Obviously, we have Bryce Young. Bryce Young is still a young QB, so I will probably end up keeping him and just building around him. But other than that, we got a pretty good running back with Chuba Hubbard, and then our wide receiver room is lacking. We definitely use some more threats in the passing game, and then tight end as well. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of our weapons on offense. I'll take a look, see how our offensive line is looking. Honestly, that's not too bad. I could definitely use a better center. But other than that, the offensive line is pretty good. So offensively, really, we're just going to be looking for pass catchers. And then we can check out defense here. Let's see what we got. We don't have a very good edge rusher. We got Derek Brown on the defensive line, so that's a massive player. We're definitely going to be re-signing him if he's not already under contract, keeping him on this team for as long as possible to anchor and captain the defense. But other than that, on defense, it does not look like we really have many good players, other than obviously J.C. Horn, first-round draft pick a couple years ago. But other than that, our defense needs improvement. So really, first thing that we got to do is improve our pass catching, or our pass catchers, and our defense. Really, I want to try to just land a great edge rusher, somebody who can get after the quarterback, and then maybe get myself a decent linebacker, and try to just get at least one good player, at every level. All right, so one thing I want to do real quick before I actually get into any games is I want to look at the current free agents. I know there's a couple of good free agents available. Christian Wilkins, Jabril Peppers, the top 2. Both 29 years old. Both have... Peppers only $5 million on his contract. Christian Wilkins, $10 million. That's a little bit more than I would really like to pay for him. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and just sign these 2 players. Either way, we need help on defense, so we can bolster our defense with these guys. And Christian Wilkins at a 92 overall star player. I don't see how we can go wrong signing him to our roster. So we'll sign Christian Wilkins, and then I will sign Jabril Peppers on the back end. Only a $5 million contract for Peppers, so we got the cap space to work with right now. That'll put us down to $26 million cap space. So I think that'll help us bolster our defense for now. We can just add those 2 guys onto our team. Our defense is pretty lacking, so we definitely gotta we definitely got to get some help there. And Christian Wilkins will help alongside Derek Brown with the interior defensive line, stuff in the run, getting to the quarterback. Still need our edge rusher, but for now, I think that'll be pretty good. We do have to cut a player here, so we'll cut you because you're the same position as Peppers, and you'll give us the most cap space out of everyone. But now we're good. We should be able to edit our roster, adjust our depth chart, and get our team ready to go. All right, so as we enter the season, this is what our lineup looks like. Our offense, like I said, our offensive line is pretty solid. We shouldn't have to worry about that. Hopefully, all these guys are under contract for at least another couple of years. And then obviously we have Ted McMillan, a wide receiver, rookie draft pick. So we got him under contract for a few years, and he should develop at a pretty high rate in Madden, being a high overall pick. We got Chuba Hubbard in the backfield, Bryce Young, a quarterback. Hopefully, Bryce Young has some kind of superstar or something on his tag on his player. I'm not sure if he does, but that would be great if he did. We could keep him at quarterback for the long run and try to rebuild around him and have him develop and increase overall fairly quickly. And then of course Leggett at wide receiver 2 is also a young player who I don't think, it doesn't look like he has any kind of superstar trait. I'm not sure if I can look at that from here. But 2 young receivers, definitely guys that can increase overall fairly quickly over time. And then our offensive line is solid. We do need a tight end pretty bad. 71 overall tight end is not going to cut it. And then on the defensive side, obviously we just signed Peppers and Christian Wilkins off the free agent list. So we got some good help there on our defense. Only thing that we really need now is just a really solid edge rusher. It's all right if we got one guy, if one side of our defensive line is a lower overall. But really, we need linebackers and an edge rusher, and then probably another decent corner to go alongside J.C. Horn. So we do have quite a bit of work to do, but that's what you run into when you decide to play with the worst overall team in the game. So let's see what players we have on expiring contracts and see if there's anybody that's worth putting on the trade block to see if we can get a decent return for them. All right, so we look at our player negotiations. We have $86 million in cap space for next season, which is quite a bit. We have Christian Wilkins, obviously only on a 1-year deal. Kwanu's on expiring contract as well. Definitely a guy we want to keep. And Pepper's a guy, obviously, we just signed on a 1-year deal. But they both have very high re-sign interest. We're losing our right tackle. Is there anybody else really worth it? Doesn't seem like it. Bryce Young's 5th-year option. Bryce Young does have the star quarterback trait, so that's good. So he will develop, and we should be able to use Bryce Young as our quarterback for the future. But really, looking at this, there's only a couple of players. Bryce Young, obviously, we're going to keep. Probably going to worry about keeping some of our depth guys on the offensive line and maybe a few on defense. But other than that, I think we're pretty much good letting all the people go, especially the ones that don't have a high re-sign interest, because those guys are going to require a little bit more money to re-sign, and we can definitely get comparable players in the free agent class that have a higher interest in the team. Losing Taylor Moton's going to hurt. A star right tackle, that's definitely not something you want to lose. But at least we should be able to keep these 2 guys, and obviously, Derek Brown's under contract. And then we got Ted McMillan still under contract. So a lot of our younger guys still under contract. But a couple of guys definitely going to try to re-sign these 3 guys here. Everyone else is kind of whatever. Bryce Young's 5th-year option, so we don't have to actually negotiate a contract. We just got to accept his option when the time comes. Christian Wilkins probably going to walk, but at the same time, we could probably keep him for a little bit and then maybe try to see if we can get a trade package for him, just because he is a high overall player. And if we could get somebody better in return, then I would definitely take that. So I'll probably end up putting him on the trade block just to see what kind of deals we can get for him, because he is on expiring contract and does not have interest in re-signing. Taylor Moton, too, I might put him on the trade block just to see what kind of offers we can get. Although I will try to get him to stay on the team. He's 31 years old, so we can definitely get a couple more good years out of him. But everyone else, if we can keep them for cheap, we'll keep them. But most of these guys are just going to end up walking. Now, I'm not sure exactly what week the trade deadline is. So what I will do is I will add those guys to the trade block now. Christian Wilkins, I'll add him to the trade block. And then who else was it? Taylor Moton, I'll add him to the trade block. I will try to re-sign him, but I will also see what kind of deals we can get for him just because he is on an expiring contract. But for now, I think we're good. I think I'll sim a couple of games into the season, and I'll see where we end up at after like the first couple of weeks. All right, we end up with a week 1 loss, a 1-point loss to the Jags. Barely lost that game. Although I'm not too concerned about our record this first year. If we get the higher overall draft pick, that's kind of for the better. So we will check out these trade offers. So we have trade offers for Taylor Moton. I'll review our offers here, see what we get. The Bears are offering us Cole Kmet and a 5th-round pick. Bengals are offering us Isaiah Likely and 3 picks. Devondre Sweat and 3 picks. Patrick Queen and 2 picks. Honestly, this might be worth taking one of these offers. We do have a lot of holes to fill on this roster, and we definitely could end up getting a decent right tackle. That's a pretty good offer. X Factor defensive tackle Kenny Clark. But at the same time, we also don't need a defensive tackle, so I'll probably end up taking an offer that we need a little bit better. I'll take a quick look through these, and I'll see if I can come to a decision on which one I want to take. All right, I think for now I'm gonna let these offers sit. I'm gonna wait until I get trade offers in for Christian Wilkins too, just to see what offers I get from there. Because I don't want to end up, getting the same position twice. So I'll wait to see till I have offers from both players, and then see what offers will best help with rebuilding. I'm kind of leaning right now towards taking Cole Kmet because it's not that easy to get a decent tight end. So I think that might be the one that I end up going with. I still don't have any offers for Christian Wilkins yet. At least I don't think so. Yeah, I still have some offers for Owen, but none for Christian Wilkins yet. So I'm leaning towards Cole Kmet right now. The other one I was looking at was Jermaine Johnson from the Jets. They offered him and a couple of picks. I could see. Let me take a look at these offers again. I could see what the picks were. The only thing that's turning me off of the Cole Kmet offer is the 5th-round pick. If they gave me a little bit higher of a pick, I might consider taking that. But for now, I don't know. I think I could do better than Kmet in a 5th. The Titans are offering me an 82 overall player and 3 picks, but he's, again, a defensive tackle. I don't need that. This is another offer. I was considering Patrick Queen, a young player that we can anchor our linebacker core with. And then the same thing here, Ernest Jones, another one. But then I was also looking at, where was it? The Jets changed their offer. Okay, so I guess they change their offer every time. But the Jets were offering Jermaine Johnson, but now they're offering a center and a 3rd-round pick, and that's a pretty good. That's not a bad offer. He is only a 79 overall, but they're also giving us a 3rd-round pick. I guess it is a 3rd-round pick 2 years from now. But it is a 24-year-old center with a star development trait. So we'll see. That's not a bad offer either. But really nothing that's absolutely blowing me away right now. Probably still leaning a little bit towards Kmet. Kmet, Queen, and then maybe Tipman. Those are the 3 that I'm kind of tossing between right now. I probably am going to end up moving Taylor Moton just because he has a low interest rate in re-signing. And he is a pretty decent overall player with a star development trait, so and a large cap hit. So I will probably end up accepting one of these trades. I just am not entirely sure which one yet. All right, week 3 against the Falcons. We pick up our first win of the season, a 27-17 win. Again, not too concerned about the record. In real life, I'm against tanking, but in a Madden sim, I would kind of like the higher overall pick. Let's take a look, see if we got any new offers. Still got Komet in the 5th. Likely, the Bengals keep dropping picks every time that I look at their offer. They have less and less picks. Still Patrick Queen, Ernest Jones, Deron Payne, still Spillane. The Jets changed their offer now to Brees Hall with 2027 draft picks. Not a bad deal, but I don't think I'm going to take that. Just simply because we already have Chuba Hubbard, who's 85 overall running back. We don't really need to. It doesn't hurt to have more, but we can always pick up like an 81 or 82 overall running back in the free agency class, just to get a little more depth. Don't really think we need him. Other than that, all these offers look pretty much the same. I think I am just going to end up taking this Cole Kmet offer, just because Taylor Moton has a 17.5 million cap hit right now, so that'll free us up a lot of money for this season. We can go around, try to see if we can trade anything else. Try to trade for a receiver or a linebacker or something, because we definitely have the cap space to cover that. But only a 4.8 million cap hit for Kmet, and they're giving us a 5th round pick in 2027. I think that's a pretty good offer. The only other one, I mean, this Patrick Queen offer is slightly better. We get a 4th round pick coming up this year. So I guess it really just depends on what we prefer to do in terms of our draft position and also the position that we want to fill. I think, actually, you know what? The more I think about it, I think I'm going to take the Patrick Queen offer. I think I'm going to let the Komet offer sit, and I think I'm going to take the Patrick Queen offer. I think I like the idea of getting the higher draft pick earlier on and also getting the linebacker. I mean, at this rate, I could see Patriots offer me a 6th round pick because, Spillane's a little higher overall, but he's also a lot older. So I think what I'll do is I think I'm going to take this Patrick Queen offer. I'll grab Patrick Queen on the defense. He's a little bit higher of a cap hit, but we got Taylor Moton off the team. That's a 17.5 million cap hit, so we do have a lot of money now that we can spend. I could take a look at our free agents and see if there's anybody available that we can sign right now. It doesn't really look like it. Seems like all the good players have kind of been scooped up already. Let me see if I can go and I kind of feel like making a splash. I'll see if I can find any possible trades to make right now. Probably try to get us a new pass catcher. All right, so I'm stuck between two things here. I'm deciding. I think I could either try to do this and fill my hole at center, or I could try to grab where is he? Jermaine Johnson. They're both the same overall. They're both star players. Tippmann's a little younger. Then they both have 2 years left on their contract. So I'm kind of tossed between which one I want to go for. I'm thinking I could go Tippmann because he's a little bit cheaper of a contract. And I feel like center might not be as easy of a position to fill. I feel like we might get lucky and have a good edge rusher in free agency. But then again, it's only a 79 overall center, and I feel like the Jermaine Johnson play, I feel like he's more of an impact player. I think offensive line is more about playing as a unit and not as much about one individual player. So let's see where we're at with this. All right, so this is a doable trade. I feel like I could swing this if I add maybe like a mid player and another draft pick in here. So let me see. We got, who can we give up here? Rico Dowdle, 80 overall running back. Let's see, who's my next running back? Trevor Etienne, 73 overall. Let me see where we're at with this. All right, still a little off. So Rico Dowdle might have to go. I'll see where this is at. All right, that's a little bit better. Not really a whole lot better. I'm surprised with the Jets having a need at running back that they're not more interested in an 80 overall running back. I'm not sure what the thought is behind that. Well, let me see. So they need a D tackle, obviously. Christian Wilkins, they have high interest in. I could maybe try to swing Rico Dowdle. I mean, Jonathan Brooks is still here, so I could try to swing Rico Dowdle in there and then maybe throw in one of my 4th round picks. I could see maybe I'll go pick 112, see where we're at with here. All right, a little closer. I really don't want to go any higher than a 3rd round pick. So I think maybe first I'll try to keep a pick in every round. I'll see if I can maybe swing next year's 4th round pick in there too, and see what that does. All right, a little bit more. So maybe, let me see. Maybe I'll sacrifice. See what it does if I do next year's 3rd rounder. All right, a little closer. All right, so I think either way I'm gonna have to give up multiple picks, which isn't really ideal. So let's try next year's 3rd rounder. See what that does. All right, very, very, very close. I know like a 5th, a 6th round pick is not going to do anything, I don't think. Yeah, not really. So it would have to be, I have to give up next year's 4th rounder too, which isn't ideal. I don't want to be giving up too many draft picks. But then again, I've also kind of always been in the boat of give up draft picks and then just sign players and trade for players, rather than gamble on a late round pick and hope that it turns out to be a good player. And especially in Madden, I don't think it really makes any difference. So, I think I will. Maybe I can do 2028 4th rounder and see. Oh my God, really? Okay, a sliver, like a 7th round pick, 2028 7th round pick. That's got to do it. There we go. All right. So I think this is a pretty good win for us. We get a really good young receiver and a good edge rusher, and we give up 2 players on expiring contracts and a bunch of like a mid-round pick and then a couple of later picks. I'm okay with this. I think this is a deal that's going to make us better. Realistically, in a Madden draft, I don't think I was really going to be landing anybody in the 4th or 7th round that mattered. The 3rd round pick is kind of, I might have got a good player out of that, but honestly, I think that this was a good move. I think that this is going to make us better, and we got 2 really good players to build up off, and I really like where we're at already. I mean, I think we've already improved up to an 80 overall team, and it's only been 3 weeks of the season, so I'll probably, you know what, I'm happy where we're at. Let me reorder our depth chart. Where am I at? GM, was it depth chart? Here we go. Auto reorder the depth chart. We'll get everybody in the right position. I think we're looking pretty good here. We could, obviously, free agency, we're going to be looking for a 2nd string running back, although we still have a young running back, Jonathan Brooks, who does have the superstar, or not the superstar, but the star development trait. But our wide receiver room is looking much better now. We still, obviously, McMillan is a young player who still has a lot of room for improvement. Still need a tight end. Offensive line is still looking pretty good, although we did lose our right tackle now. So we're definitely going to have to try to land somebody in free agency. But I think overall, our team has improved a lot. So let's sim another couple of weeks and see where we're at. All right, up to week 7 now. We're 2-4. We're coming up against the 0-6 Jets. I'm going to start looking into my contract negotiations, and I'm going to see if I can negotiate with these guys. We got a couple of guys that we want to keep, obviously. I'm going to see if I can land him on a slightly cheaper deal. All right, perfect. So we landed our left tackle on a pretty cheap deal, and we got him for 4 years, too. So that's going to be a huge contract for us. We're going to have him for a long time. Jabril Peppers, I'll see. We can try to... I'll drop the value a little bit. I'll see if I can lowball him. We still do have a good amount of cap space left. All right, perfect. So that was a lot easier than I expected. I thought those were going to be hard re-signs. But from here on out, our offensive line is probably really going to be hurting after free agency because it seems like we're losing a couple of guys there. All of our centers are gone. I'm pretty sure he was starting now. We're definitely going to be losing a good amount of our offensive linemen, so that's going to hurt. But I think for now, I'm good. I'm glad that we were able to re-sign those 2 guys. I think those are going to be big pieces for us. All these 60-ish overall players, I'm not really too concerned with. We can always just draft late round and replace those guys. I think for now, I might try to keep one of these centers because we are gonna need some depth at center. So I think I will give him an offer. I'll see if I can maybe get him. I'm gonna need to give him a little more money is the problem. So I'll see what he thinks about that. All right. Oh, perfect. That was easier than I thought. Just give him a little bit more of a bonus, and we're good. So that's pretty good. I think I like where we're at. I'll reevaluate the depth chart, and I'll come back and I'll see if there's really anybody here that we need to keep. Maybe a corner because I saw we had 2 corners coming out. So we'll take a look at that. Punter, I'm not concerned about. I'll just sign a cheap free agent for literally no money. But for now, I think we're in a pretty good spot. All right, so we end up finishing the season 7-10. Not the best year from us, but also a lot better than it would have been had we not made any moves. So I'm going to upgrade our players, and I'm going to sim to the offseason. I have to remember to accept Bryce Young's 5th-year option so we can keep our quarterback. I really cannot forget that. Luckily my contract was extended, so that's good. That means I guess I've done a pretty good job. But let's sim to the off season, and then let's start up our rebuild. We'll see what kind of free agents we can land and see who we can draft, and then that'll probably wrap it up for this part. I think this is probably gonna have to be about one season every video because this is already over an hour recording. So definitely don't want to have like a 3-hour long video because nobody wants to sit through that. So I think I'll just do 1 season per video and see how many seasons it takes us to win a Super Bowl. But at this rate, I mean, I think we're already pretty good. After the first season, we built up to an 83 overall team, 7-10 record. Definitely a lot of improvement from last year. I think the Panthers were only like a couple of win team last year, maybe 5. So we're already improved. But let's just sim to the off season and let's see where we're at. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's take a look at the stats. Let's take a look at our team stats. Bryce Young finishes the season 3,062 yards, 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Pretty good season from him. That's pretty good. He also has 270 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard breaks 1,000 yards and only 4 touchdowns on the year, but a pretty efficient season for him, 4 yards per carry. Receiving, Garrett Wilson comes in and leads the team in receiving yards, 883 yards, 4 touchdowns. Ted McMillan in his rookie year, 737 yards and 6 touchdowns. And then our random tight end gets 590 yards and 2 touchdowns, so that's pretty good. Jalen Coker, 7 touchdowns, 559 yards. He's only got 1 more year in his contract. I know his contract is expiring too. It's going to kind of suck to see that kind of production go. But we do have 3 players, that are going to be higher overall than him anyway, so we might as well just let him go. But other than that, I mean, nothing too surprising there. We could take a look at our defense and see how they did. Patrick Queen leads the team with 120 tackles. Christian Roseboom, 115 tackles. Jabril Peppers, 85 tackles. Let's see, can we show interceptions? We can show interceptions. Patrick Queen leads the team with 6 picks. Patrick Queen is looking to be a great pickup for us. 1.5 sacks, but he's got 120 tackles and 6 picks on the season. Let's see, J.C. Horn with 4 picks on the season. Where are we at for forced fumbles? Any forced fumbles? 0 forced fumbles on the season. That is not a good look for the defense, not going to lie. But you know what? I think we're at a solid foundation. I think we're at a good point right now. Our team is pretty good after 1 season, and let's sim to the off season. Let's sim to the off season, and we'll start to sign some free agents and draft. So at the end of the first season, the Ravens end up as Super Bowl champions, beating the Packers 20-10 in the big game. Pretty difficult road there for the Packers. They had to play the Matt Stafford and the 3-seeded Rams. Then they play a division rival, the Vikings, and then they play the defending champion Eagles in the NFC title game. And then they have to play the Ravens. So your props to the Packers for making it there. That's a tough road. And then the Ravens Obviously, first round bye, then they play the Chargers and the Broncos, so not too difficult of a road there. Um, but yeah, Ravens Super Bowl champions in the first season. That'll be us next year. That'll be us. We'll be up there. I gotta go through now. I gotta find. I might have to sim one more week, I think, because I gotta. Yeah, I have to. I think I have to sim to the re-sign players phase, but I gotta re-sign or accept Bryce Young's 5th-year option. I cannot forget to do that because I cannot lose our quarterback to free agency. So we got to advance week to re-sign players. We got to accept Bryce's 5th-year option. Everybody else is probably going to just have to go. So we'll accept Bryce, keep Bryce on the team for next year. Everybody else is probably going to have to go. Unfortunately, Jalen Coker, you had a great year from us, but you're probably going to get a bag in free agency, so you're going to have to go. Everyone else, I think everyone else is going to have to go. Worst case scenario, we'll just have to sign some depth free agent guys. Not a big deal. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. We have all of our main players locked down. So let's sim to stage 1 of the offseason, and let's start signing some free agents. All right, let's check out this free agent class. Let's see who's available. We got not too many good players. We got 88 overall right guard, George Pickens, Najee Harris is there, Joel Bitonio, some older players. Nobody really has any interest in signing with us. Rashad White does. That could be a good depth player. Drew Tranquil has high interest. I think I'll give Drew Tranquil an offer. We do need a will linebacker. How old is he? He's 31. I'll give him 3 years. Give him 3.3 million. We got 66 million in cap space, so we definitely don't need to be shy about paying our guys. We'll give him an offer because he's got high interest in us. George Pickens. We have a couple of young receivers. If we want to win now, we could go for a guy like Pickens. But again, he doesn't really have much interest. Kendall Fuller, we do need a corner. He is a little older. I'll give him a couple of years. We do have a lot of cap space, so I'm not afraid to spend a little big on these guys. There's not too many good free agents available right now. And we do have a lot of space, so I think I'll sign... You know what? I don't think we really need to go for a running back. I think we can let him go. Let me see. Yeah, it's all a lot of running backs. Would he pay? All right, so for now, I think that's all right for now. Let me take a look at our roster and let me see where the real holes are, and then I'll go target players from that. But as far as just signing good players goes, I think those are probably the only 2 that really stick out to me. So let me go check out our lineup and see where the real holes are. All right, so right off the rip, we definitely need a right tackle. We still need a tight end. But other than that, I mean, our offense is pretty good. Ted McMillan's up to an 84 overall. Garrett Wilson's up to an 88. Chuba Hubbard's up to an 88 as well. Jordan Brooks is up to an 82. So our running back room is pretty solid. Our wide receiver room is pretty solid. We could sign a 3, some like a low 80 overall. But I think we're pretty good. Definitely need a right tackle. Definitely need a tight end. As far as defense goes, we definitely need the will linebacker, but we did just offer Drew Tranquil, so hopefully he signs with us. And then we did just offer Kendall Fuller as well, so hopefully he signs with us, and we get a nice corner to complement J.C. Horn. But other than that, I mean, we're not in horrible shape. I think we have a pretty good roster. We could go with a new D tackle too. And maybe somebody to go on the right edge opposite Jermaine Johnson. Definitely need a couple linebackers, but other than that, I think we're all right. Kicker, punter, is, whatever. We'll sign somebody if I have to. So I think for now, right tackle, tight end, and then linebackers. Right tackle, tight end, linebackers. I think that's really the big one. So let me see who's available. Right tackle. Definitely need to sign a right tackle at this point. Probably want to go for somebody who's a little bit younger. Titus Howard is 75 overall. I think that might be our best bet at this point. I don't think anybody else. I mean, Jonah Williams, actually, 28 years old. and he's got about the same interest, but he's also 3 overall less. So I think I'm gonna go with Titus Howard. I think I'll give him. He's 30 years old. I'll give him a 2-year deal, and I'll give him a good amount of money because we have the cap space, and we don't really have anybody else to spend it on. So we'll give him an offer. And then we also need, what was it, a right edge that we need? Sign somebody to go opposite of Jermaine Johnson. Samson Ebicom, looks like you have the most interest in signing with us, so I'll give you a pretty good offer. That should be all right. You had a good, decent amount of interest. And then what else are we at? It was Sam linebacker, right, that we needed. Not really anybody here. We'll probably just wait and see who comes available. Maybe we'll try to get a trade for somebody. And then tight end, Noah Fant, actually. He does have interest in signing with us. He's only 28 years old. Let me give him an offer. We could probably get him for pretty cheap. I'll give him $4 million a year. Slightly overpaying these guys, but I mean, if you think about it, like there really isn't anybody else available. So let's just put up those offers for now. Let's sim to next week and see who we land. Hopefully we can get all those guys because that would be huge for us if we could fill all those holes in the early stages. Let me see. So we got Kendall Fuller, we got Drew Tranquil, we got Samson Ebicom, we got Titus Howard. Let me see if, okay, who's available? All right, George Pickens signed with the Eagles. So, man, Eagles got another good receiver. Let me see. Where did Noah Fant? All right, so Noah Fant signed with somebody else. That kind of sucks. Where did he go? He went to Seattle, so that sucks. We're going to have to land a tight end somehow. I might just trade for one, honestly. I might give up some draft picks. Maybe I'll draft one. Who knows? But let me see. So we're going to have to get a tight end. We did get the right tackle, right? Yes, okay, we did get the right tackle, so we filled that hole. We got our corner. We got our edge. Let me see. My signings. Here we go. Go to all. Yeah, so we got our corner, we got our will, we got our right edge, we got our right tackle. So the only thing we really need now is just like a Sam linebacker, maybe a backup D tackle. Let me just see who's still available because we still have 35.1 million in cap space, so we still have a lot of cap space to work with. We could try to swing another player. Ryan Kelly is available. That's a pretty good overall center, but he is 33 years old, does not have a lot of interest in signing, so we're probably have to give up more than we want to pay for him. Could land another D tackle to go behind Derek Brown, but I think we're good there. We already got our edge rusher. We could land a young center. I'm pretty sure we still needed a center, right? What's our depth chart? Who do we have at center right now? 77 overall. All right, so I guess he's all right. We did. Oh yeah, well, that's right. We did re-sign him. So I think. I mean, let me look at our depth chart. Let me see. Let me look at our depth chart. I'll auto reorder just so we have everybody that's starting. I'll adjust our lineup. Let me see what we're looking at here. All right. So really just a tight end as far as offense goes. The offensive line is pretty solid. We really just need a tight end. And then as far as defense goes, a will linebacker, maybe a third corner, and then just another edge rusher. But other than that, I mean, I think we're good. I think what we really need to do at this point is just a splash trade for like a big name, either edge rusher or tight end. I mean, I mean, there isn't really, maybe not a big name tight end, but I think we really just need to make a splash trade, maybe a big edge rusher, just to somebody who can just consistently get to the quarterback. Because we do have Derek Brown, who's really good up the middle, and then we have Jermaine Johnson, who's pretty solid on the edge, but we do need somebody who can just get there on every play. I think that'll help us sim a little bit better. Let's check on the free agents again. I'll see if there's anybody that we want to sign here before we move on. I can see, I mean, really, Really doesn't seem like there's anybody that I want to go for here. I think I'm pretty good with the roster that we have. I think I'm all right with it if we miss out on some of these guys. We can always check back on the available free agents after everybody's signed. Um, really wasn't any big names available. I mean, maybe Rasul Douglas, he's a good, not a bad, not a bad slot corner. Maybe I could just give him an offer. Um, see if he signs with us. Doesn't really hurt to throw him a little bit and get good depth at corner. Have all three of our starting corners be good. But I mean, other than that, I think we're in a pretty good spot. I don't think there's really anything else that we need here. Yeah, I know. I think we're all right. Let's sim ahead and see where we're at. All right, so Rasul Douglas ended up going to the Falcons. That's all right. We can miss out on him. So it just saves us a little bit more money. All right, let's sign. We do need a couple. We need a backup quarterback. So let's just sign, somebody for cheap. We don't really, injuries are off, so it doesn't really matter. Actually, you know what? Forget it. We'll sign somebody once free agency's over. We'll sign somebody, because there'll still be available free agents. So let's sim to the draft. We'll go fill our holes in the roster just by signing available free agents to the active roster. And then we could start the draft. Actually, well, I guess I have to wait. So let's start the draft first. Take a look at our roster. We'll see where our holes are at. Actually, I gotta go. I'll just look at the lineup. It'll be easier to see this way. We'll check the lineup, see where our holes are at. Still need a tight end. Could definitely use a better right tackle, but we did just sign Howard, so we'll keep Titus Howard for this year. So really offense, we just need a tight end, and we really need a linebacker and maybe a really good edge rusher. But other than that, I think we're good. So we'll look for tight end, linebacker, edge rusher. All right, take a look at our draft recap here. I didn't make any trades. I just picked random players. I just tried to fill gaps on the team. We filled our tight end gap. We filled our will linebacker. I took a couple right edge guys just because I wanted to see whichever one of them turns out to be better. Took a wide receiver just for the heck of it. And then some depth at offensive line with my later picks. Nothing too special. Not really worried about that. Just trying to fill the holes on the team, like I said. All right, let me check on our roster. Let me see what our roster looks like. Where is... That's not what I want. Lineup. Here we go. All right, so we definitely need backup quarterbacks. We cannot have 12 overall quarterbacks. So we're definitely going to sign some backup quarterbacks that are still available. We could use some offensive line depth, but injuries are off, so then again, it doesn't really matter too much because our guys aren't going to get hurt. Our rookie tight end is actually a better fullback than he is a tight end, so that's nice. We drafted him 7th overall. Our will linebacker that we drafted is starting. That's good. 70 overall. That's a good improvement over the 64. Still not the best, but better than nothing. I think overall our team looks pretty good. We definitely have some holes that we need to fill still. Definitely need a kicker and a punter, so I'll go. So I got to sign a kicker, a punter, and a couple of quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks. So let's check out our free agents. We can sign. We can just sign the best overall kicker. I would say we can sign him to the active roster for 1.25 million. So let's do that. We'll sign a kicker. We do need a punter, so we can sign the best overall punter to the active roster for 2.05 million. And then we need a couple of quarterbacks. So let's go ahead and sign. Let's filter actually, or is it QB? And then we'll just sign a couple of these guys as backups. Who can we even get? Doesn't really matter. I'll just sign some cheap guys. Where are they at? Sign Tommy DeVito, 1.29 million. I'll sign him to the roster. And then we can sign who's a cheap one? I'll sign Sign Tyson Bagent to the roster. 1.15 million. All right. So I think we're pretty good. I'll reorder the depth chart. And then I think that'll be it for this video. One season in the books. Let me reorder our depth chart. There we go. And then now we can take one final look at the team. The lineup through one season. We're able to get pretty solid offensive line. We drafted a new tight end. We brought in a couple of receivers, or a receiver, Garrett Wilson. And then we brought in Patrick Queen to anchor our linebacker core, Drew Tranquil in free agency, Jabril Peppers. Pretty good. Our secondary, I think, is pretty good. Our defensive line is pretty good. Obviously, Derek Brown's really improving it there. We brought in Jermaine Johnson, a young pass rusher who will hopefully improve. Then we were able to pick up a good kicker and a good punter there in free agency. But overall, man, I mean, I think we're in a pretty good spot. We improved our team from, what was it, a 78 overall up to an 84 just in one off season. So things are looking good. Things are looking good for this season. I like where we're at. Hopefully only takes us another couple of seasons to win a Super Bowl, but I mean, I really like where we're at. I think we're in a good spot here. This might be the year where I just trade away our draft picks and go all in and try to win the Super Bowl. But we'll see. We'll see. That's it for one season of the Panthers. Up to an 84 overall. Excited to see where we can take this, but I think we're in a pretty good spot right now.